turn a little light on. Let's see if it helps. How do I look? All right. Hello. Welcome to Yoga Building Blocks and Foundations. This is a 40-module course. We will be releasing 5 per week over the next 8 weeks. You are welcome to keep up Everyday Live and complete this in 8 weeks, or you are welcome to do 1 class a week and complete it in 40 weeks. You have full access to it. I will be here live as support in the comment section for at least a year from the date of this posting. And I'm glad you're here. If you have questions, I really hope you'll engage and you'll reach out. I don't know what else to say. I can tell you that we are here in the Be Your Own Guru Wellness Center in Breckenridge, Colorado. This is a commercial space, and so there's a ski shop next door. There's sometimes noise as they're banging around or, running their skis on the wax machines or whatever those things are called. There's a ski mountain behind us. Sometimes there's avalanche blasting, and you'll have sounds from that. There's a hat shop below us. Occasionally there's some music that comes from there. And so if there's external sounds, there's external sounds. There's nothing we can do about it. If we take it as an opportunity to incorporate it in, right? Life isn't totally quiet, and these classes aren't going to be totally quiet. Okay? Awesome. One last thing, if you will take a minute to introduce yourself in the comments so that we can all just say hello and engage. Start the process of engaging, that would be lovely, right? I mean, there's so many benefits to the fact that we are doing these in our own homes, which means we can do them at our own pace. We can do them in a space where we can feel comfortable. We can try things that we might not be willing to try around other people. But we do miss out a little bit of that in-person connection. So as much as we can create that in the comment section, that's the hope. Yeah? Okay. For today's class, we are primarily going to talk about sitting comfortably. Just so you know, my clock is on this side of the wall, so when I'm doing like the odd glance over my left shoulder, it's because I'm checking to see what time it is. That's all. I'm going to first open the space. And so there's lots of different theories, there's lots of different styles about how you open a class, about how you close a class, how you open a personal practice, how you close a personal practice. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure it matters. I think that the important here is that I'm taking a moment to open the space, and at the end we'll take a moment to close the space, right? It just gives us some boundaries. And so we'll open today with 3 deep breaths. And that means grab a seat wherever you'd like, whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to talk about sitting today, and that's going to include sitting in a chair as a very, very valid option. So grab what feels good to you, grab a seat for a minute, get comfortable. You only have to be comfortable for so long as we can take 3 deep breaths together. That's it. All right? Find your spot, whatever it is, take a minute, close your eyes. We'll inhale. We'll exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Okay, like I said, today's class is about sitting comfortably. There is plenty of sitting to be done if we are doing breath work, if we are working on meditation techniques. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is you don't even have to sit, right? So there's lots of theories about the energetics and the position and the poses we're putting our body into and the effect that has on us, and they're valid. One of the main reasons right now that we lean towards sitting is because it's easier to sit for a long time than to stand for a long time, right? But perhaps you have some limitation that doesn't allow you to sit. And so step 1 is you can stand. And if standing is where you are, then stand. There's nothing that says you have to sit down. Even if I'm using the word sit, I want you to interpret it all throughout this module to mean what it means for you. So I will say, let's take a seat, and you might say, okay, cool, I'm gonna stand up here in the back. Great, do that. What we want is our spine to be straight. right? And that's the biggest thing when we're sitting, is we are looking at our spine to be straight, and we'll talk a lot about this central channel, and we'll get to that. Right now, we're just gonna talk physically, standing up straight. And that's it, right? This could be your option. I say sit, you say cool, and you stand in the back of the room. Love it, okay? The other piece is it's gonna change day to day. And so maybe most of the time you love sitting on the floor in your cushion cross-legged, and today you're like, nope, I don't wanna do that today. Today I wanna stand and breathe. Cool, stand and breathe. Maybe standing is way more than I wanna put in, sitting isn't comfortable. Maybe I wanna lie on my back. So there's a couple things to be aware of here. When we are doing exercises in a sitting position, we are trying to stay present and aware. And so there is an option where you could lie completely in Shavasana. If this is what is most accessible to you to lie on your back, then lie on your back. The caution is, when you're lying on your back, to not drift into the sleepy time vibes, right? The caution is to stay more aware. One way to do that is to bend our knees and put our feet flat on the floor. This does two things. It grounds our feet into the ground. It keeps us a little more engaged than this does. The second thing it does is it relieves some pressure in our low back. And so for a lot of us to lay entirely flat, creates some tension in our back here. When we bend our knees, it helps us to find flat with our low back. If I am in this position, if this is what I'm choosing for my sitting for this particular practice, my hips are flat, my knees are in line with my hips, so I'm not way out here and I'm not way in here, right? As much as possible, given your own, whatever your physical body looks like, as much as possible, our knees are in line with our hips and our ankles are in line with our knees. So we can be comfortably here. This could be what sitting looks like for any particular practice or for all of the practices. If this is your choice, there may be cueing about arm movements when we're sitting, so maybe you want to move your arms to the position that we're doing whatever we're doing on the ground, or maybe you just want your arms by your side or arms on your belly. Whatever feels good for you, that's great. And the reason you're going to hear me say a lot, like a lot, whatever feels good for you, is two things. You're gonna see me getting into a particular position, and then there's this instinct that that is the right position, or that is the position that I'm trying to get into, and it's not. It's not. And so I will repeat myself a lot when I say, get into the position that you want. As we move forward, we're in module 20, module 30. Hopefully I'm not saying that so much anymore, because hopefully that has sunk in, and I'm simply saying, all right, we're gonna take a seat, and you're gonna take whatever position seat means for you, okay? The thing is when we're in these seated positions, what we're looking for is a pose that is steady and comfortable. I'm not looking for a position where all I can think about is how my knees hurt because I'm sitting in a place that is not comfortable for my legs. I want to be able to forget about my body in this seated position. I want to be able to forget and yet still be aware, right? That's that balance between I'm going to lay on my back in Shavasana and go to sleep versus I'm going to be in some level of an alert position, but I want to be comfortable enough that I can forget about my body and my body can sort of stay wherever it is, okay? So, sitting, we could stand, we could lie on our backs. I recommend with knees bent, feet flat on the floor. We could grab a chair. So, I'm gonna bring this chair a little over here into view. If I am in a chair, don't knock over, water, don't knock over. And I encourage you, try all of these different positions. Like I hope right now you've got some different props you're playing with and you're trying different things with me. See what feels good. As we move through this program, try different seats. And so in tomorrow's module or whenever you take module 2, maybe you try one position. In module 3, maybe you try another. Find the one that works for you. Whew, man, out of breath a little bit. The goal is to find the posture for you that is both steady and comfortable. And it does not matter what it looks like. And the best way to find a posture that is both steady and comfortable is to try different postures. Yes? Also, we will do some different stretching and strengthening exercises throughout the course of this program that will make postures feel more comfortable. Sometimes it's hard to just find a spot in general. Okay, so if you're choosing a chair, options are feet are flat on the floor, I'm sitting on the edge of the chair, and I'm sitting up tall. In this position, I am engaging some muscles to hold myself up, right? Ideally, these are muscles we want to strengthen, and so it's lovely when I can sit forward and hold myself up. That's awesome. If I'm doing a practice that's long, I'm not going to define what long means for you. If I'm doing a practice that's long, I may not have the physical strength yet to hold myself up here. That's okay. I can sit back. I can let the chair hold me up. If I'm doing that, ideally, this chair is not exactly ideal because I lean a little back in it. Ideally, I've got a chair with a flat back that is straight, and I'm able to sit up, and then it is able to lean up against me, right? And ideally, when my feet are flat on the floor, I've got about 90 degrees in this angle of my knee-ish, right? So this is another option. If you are someone who likes to sit cross-legged, maybe you have a chair that you like to sit cross-legged in, and it gives you the opportunity to have a back to lean against while you're cross-legged. In this particular chair, I have support in my low back, but if I'm sitting up straight, I don't have any support going up high. That's just what the dynamics of this chair is, and this is the chair that I happen to have in the studio, right? Depends. Depends on what works for you. So chairs are an option. If you want to sit on the floor, for most, I don't want to say most, for some crew of people, it's not necessarily comfortable to just sit flat, cross-legged on the floor. Like some level of crisscross applesauce may not be comfortable for you. Perhaps your knees are up here if you're crisscross applesaucing, okay? The general recommendation is that you want to get your hips higher than your knees when you're sitting on the ground. So, I can sit on a cushion. I love these. This is a Guyam cushion. It's got like a buckwheat in it, but it's nice and tall and it's sturdy. Whatever works for you though. Cushions are cushions and whatever you've got. So I can sit on this cushion. Maybe this gets my hips above my knees. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm on a cushion and my knees are still up. You know what? Grab another cushion, right? I can double up on these. I can be up here. And now maybe finally my hips are either in line with or above my knees. So wherever that space is, finding the thing that you can sit on, and the reason being is we're opening a little bit in here, right? I don't want anything more than 90 degrees between my hips and my legs if possible for most of these seated positions, right? So find the height that's right for you. Maybe these are some outdoor cushions I happen to have, right? Cushions are cushions. Find what works for you. Some are sturdier, denser than others, and some are softer. So find the thing that works. Maybe this is where I am, and this gets me, and no, right? I don't know. Find what's right for you. If I want two of these, listen, if you don't have a stack of cushions nearby, I hope by now you've paused the video and gone to grab a stack of cushions. Go grab some cushions. Play with it, because this is what we're really trying to do. We're going to try to build ourselves a little nest. And so maybe I'm here, and this is the place where my knees are a little bit below my hips and I feel comfortable, but my knees still aren't on the ground. And so if I put something under my knees, these are yoga blocks. You could use a sturdy book. right? But if I'm putting something under my knees that give them something to lean on, I'm no longer using muscle to hold my knees where they are, right? So I'm able to relax into this. Blocks are an option, books are an option, sturdy boxes are an option. Maybe you've got a little, box from something you ordered online. Just make sure that you stuff it enough that the box itself is sturdy and it's not going to collapse under your weight. Cushions are an option. So I could put cushions under here, right? To support my knees. What I'm looking for is my nest that I'm fully supported. Blankets are an option. So maybe I don't have a cushion that gets me to the height I want to get to. I could roll up a blanket and I could sit. Whoa, that was softer than I was expecting. I could sit on the edge of my roll up blanket, right? Or maybe I've got a cushion that I like and I could take this blanket, roll it this way so that I sit on my cushion. This I can roll around and roll to the level that works for me so that I'm tucking it under and supporting my knees. Options. It doesn't matter what these props are. It matters that you feel supported in the position that you're in. This is your seat for the rest of this module is your throne. And your throne should be a place that you can sit on for an extended period of time and be happy to be there, right? So I've heard one of my teachers says, build yourself a nest. Whatever it is, find the things that support yourself. Here's the other aspect. You might not like your legs externally rotated. You might be more comfortable internally rotated. So sitting on your knees is an option. There's ranges with this, right? First of all, sitting on my knees in general without any support can be uncomfortable on a hard floor. So maybe in its most basic form, I've got a cushion underneath of me to give me just a tiny little bit of support when I'm sitting. Maybe I like to sit on my heels. Maybe I like my heels to go a little bit wider and I'm sitting flat. If this is nowhere near accessible for you, don't worry about it. This is for whoever it is that's more comfortable in an internally rotated position. The other option is I can put a bolster or a cushion under me. So this is a round one. If I put this one under me, it spreads me a little bit wider. I'm on my knees, I'm lifted, right? If I take something like this one, which is not quite as wide, when I straddle this bolster, I'm up a little higher, my knees are a little closer together. This is all about finding the position that feels good for you. Yeah? Perhaps I like to be on my knees, but I don't have the flexion in my ankles for them to go flat. I can take a rolled up blanket. This goes right, let me turn sideways so you can see. This goes right under where my ankles would be to give me some support here. I still want to sit on this bolster. And then I'm up here, and this is my seat. Yeah? Beautiful. So, what I'm going to encourage you to do in this moment is to shuffle and finesse. I hope you've been shuffling and finessing as we've been. Find a spot that feels good for you. If you need a little more time to shuffle and finesse, to go grab some more cushions, to go grab a book, to go grab whatever you might need, go do so. Pause this video, come back, and we're gonna meet in our seat, whatever that looks like for you, and we're gonna do a simple breath exercise. All right? So while you are grabbing things, I'm going to rearrange to a seat that feels good for me, because the truth is, I am comfortable in a cross-legged position on the floor. That does not make that the right position or the position that anyone else should be in. It just happens to be the position that I am comfortable in. So when I say seat, most often you will see me take a cross-legged seat. That's because that's where I'm comfortable. It's not because that is somehow the right position to be in. So please, 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 feel no pressure to look like me. Please focus on looking like you, into your seat, whatever that may be. I'll roll that up later. You just hang right there. Okay, why am I am out of breath, it doesn't matter. Seat. This is a throne that I like. You'll see a couple different options of things that I pop into, but this is one that I like. I'm also gonna grab a drink of water. Okay. Wow, I'm thirsty. Okay. Grab your seat. Whatever that looks like for you. If you have questions, take a picture of the seat that is almost comfortable for you, post it in the comments, and I'm happy to provide additional insight of ways that you could support yourself that may make it a little bit more comfortable. Yeah? So let's call that homework in general. If you are comfortable doing so, take a picture of yourself in a seat, any seat, share what you like down in the comments, if you want. It'd be cool if you did. Whatever, right? Okay. Find your seat, whatever it may be. Hands comfortably in your lap somewhere. Take a moment and just take a couple of breaths. We're not trying to do anything with our breath here. We're simply trying to settle. We're simply taking a moment for all the aspects of ourselves to find us here in this one location. And we're breathing. And we're using our breath as an anchor between our physical body and our etheric body. We're using the breath as this connection point, something that we can pay attention to that says, this is where we are. Be here now. From here, we're going to take a hand and we're going to place it on the belly. When we inhale, maybe our belly button rises. When we exhale, maybe the belly button comes in and up. Inhale, the belly button comes out. Exhale, the belly button comes out. In. Inhale, the belly button comes out. Exhale, the belly button comes in. So this is belly breathing. This is I'm taking my breath and bringing it deep into my belly. And when I inhale, I expand. When I exhale, I come in, right? Maybe I'm chest breathing. So if I bring my hands to my chest, when I inhale, I might feel my chest rise. Exhale, I'll feel it fall. At your pace. Inhale, maybe you feel the chest rise. Exhale, it might fall. Inhale, the chest might rise. Exhale, maybe it falls. If I'm breathing particularly shallowly, maybe it's in my collarbones, and maybe when I inhale, my collarbones are rising, and when I exhale, they're falling. When I inhale, my collarbones are rising. Exhale, they fall. Inhale, the collarbones rise. Exhale, they fall. Perhaps it felt easier or more natural to breathe into one of these locations. There's a reason our body is capable of moving our breath in different places, right? So not one of these is better and not one of these is worse. That said, the shallower breaths will activate our sympathetic nervous system. This is an activation of our fight or flight when we are breathing up here. And so typically we are trying to breathe down into our belly because we are trying to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. We're trying to activate the rest and digest, and we're trying to engage fully into the depths of our belly. So you'll hear it cued a lot throughout this series to breathe into the belly. I'll talk a lot about the belly button coming out and the belly button coming in, the belly button coming out and the belly button coming in. Simple enough, and yet, for some folks, when they start to breathe, they notice that when they breathe in, their belly button comes in, and when they breathe out, their belly button comes out. It's not unusual that that's the case. I'm not going to tell you have to breathe in and your belly button comes out, and you have to breathe where your belly button comes in, but I will say that we are trying to activate our parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system. We will focus on the inhale, the belly button comes out, on the exhale, the belly button comes in. On the inhale, the belly button comes out. On the exhale, the belly button comes in. So simple, there's a placement of our breath. Where, how deeply are we inhaling? How completely are we exhaling? So when I'm exhaling, if my belly button is coming in and my diaphragm is pulling up and I'm emptying all of my lungs all the way out, when I squeeze everything in here, it helps to squeeze into the lungs so that I can exhale more of that breath out. If the lung is not fully inflating on the inhale and fully deflating on the exhale, things can get stagnant in the hunks. I don't know why I use that word. Things can get stagnant in the, alveoli. Hold on just a sec, someone's knocking on the door. We're back. Weird. Lovely. We've breathed. So the placement of where we breathe is something we'll pay attention to. The depth of our breath is something we'll pay attention to. The fact that we're breathing in general is something that we'll pay attention to, right? The breath is something we can always come back to. So when our mind starts to wander, and it does, minds do what minds do, the breath can be this anchor to be like, oh, wait, I'm too far away. All I need to do is bring my attention back to my breath. And so if I'm breathing deeply into my belly, exhaling, that belly button is coming in, and fully emptying the lungs. That's lovely. The other thing we might do is we might play with the pacing of our breath. So sometimes we're just breathing naturally at whatever pace feels good. Other times we are attempting to fall into a pace, and different pacing patterns will have different effects on our body. And so again, presuming that we are Westerners whose sympathetic nervous systems are probably overstressed and overactivated anyway, we're probably often looking to tap back into that parasympathetic, into the rest and digest side of things. One way to do that is to make our exhales twice as long as our inhales. So if I'm inhaling for a count of 2, I'm exhaling for a count of 4. If I'm inhaling for a count of 2, I'm exhaling for a count of 4. Maybe that feels like the right pace, maybe that feels too fast, maybe that feels too slow. Maybe I'm inhaling for a count of 1, I'm exhaling for a count of 2. Maybe I'm inhaling for a count of 4, and I'm exhaling for a count of 8. So maybe I'm breathing in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe that felt right, maybe that felt too long, maybe that felt too short. The point in these breathing exercises and the point in multiple of our exercises is we're looking to find our edge. Another term you'll hear a lot in yoga, right? So we're looking to find that place where we are pushing our body past the I'm giving up sooner than I need to, and yet we're respecting that I'm not pushing myself so hard that I'm negating the effects, right? If I am holding my breath until I'm blue in the face, I'm adding to my stress. And the point is in this exercise, the point is we're trying to lower the stress, right? That said, maybe I can hold it for one more count than I thought I would. Maybe I can push myself a little bit to hold that expansion that would maybe come naturally. And so this is your responsibility. This is your effort to find where that line is. And in any breath work we do, in any exercise in general, but we're talking specifically about breath work, in any breath work that we do throughout this practice, the goal is to false. In any practice, specifically we're speaking to breath work, if my pacing isn't the right pacing for you, please go with the pacing that's right for you. So if we're doing a breath and I'm counting an in for 4 and an out for 8 and an in for 4 and an out for 8, and you know that breathing out for 8 makes you way too stressed and it is not the right count for you, then I'm going to ask that you count for yourself and you breathe in for 3 and out for 6 and in for 3 and out for 6. There's a level of difficulty in that if I'm saying words and you're ignoring my words and breathing at your pace, but I'm going to ask you to do so because we are in some level of a general video and I have to say some words, and so I'm going to try to find some middle ground. The same goes if you fall on the other end of the spectrum. If breathing in for 4 and out for 8 is too short for you and you want to breathe in for 6 and out for 12 or in for 8 and out for 16, go for it, right? Take whatever's right for you. So I want to check in a second. We are sitting and we've been sitting for a few minutes. How comfortable are you right now? Is this a seat that's right for you? Do you need to make adjustments right now? Do you need to stuff some more things in different places to feel supported? We never talked about sitting on the floor with your back against the wall, but that's an option too. That's an option I love for an extended practice because it really helps me to keep my spine straight. You can sit on the floor or with a cushion underneath of you with your back up against a wall. That's beautiful, right? We are meeting ourselves exactly where we are. And depending on your alignment today and depending on your musculature today, that's going to look very different than anyone else next to you. So check back in your seat. Make any small adjustments, find what's good for you, and then we're going to do that extended exhale breath. We're going to breathe into the belly. We'll breathe in for 4, out for 8, or again at the pace that's right for you, and we're going to do that 4 times. All right? So find your seat, get comfy, go lean up against a wall if you want to lean up against a wall. Grab a chair if you sat on the floor and you're like, oh crap, I should have been on a chair. If you're in a chair and you're actually not as comfortable as you thought you would be, try the floor. Try the floor with a wall. Try the floor with lots of cushions. Try laying on your back with your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor. Try standing. Don't care. Right? Okay. In for 4, out for 8. On the inhale, our belly button comes out. On the exhale, our belly button comes in. If you want to put your hand on your belly to think about that as it's going, do so. If you want to put your hands in lap, do that too. Ready? We're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4, out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Taking just a moment to be still. Taking just a moment to feel into your body, to allow things to be exactly as they are right here, right now. We're going to bring this practice to a close the same way that we opened it, with 3 deep breaths together. So when you're ready, we'll inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you next time for Module 2.